everybody, and welcome to Chelmsford Tonight. This is the show where we highlight the people and places that make Chelmsford and the surrounding communities a great place to live and work. I'm Karen Woodrow, owner of Visiting Angels Senior Home Care right here in Chelmsford, and I'll be your host. So while we haven't officially reached the summer solstice on the calendar, there's lots of signs around Chelmsford that summer is upon us. The first sign here at Chelmsford TeleMedia is that cameraman John Egan is back from Florida. Welcome back, John. It's nice to have you. So this show is going to focus on what's happening this summer in and around town. The first segment tonight is going to focus on the month of June, which is Pride Month. And we are happy to have Captain Danielle Koutsoufis with us. Danielle is a Chelmsford Fire Prevention Officer and has been with the Chelmsford Fire Department for almost 19 years. Welcome to the show, Danielle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So it's nice to have you here. So we're going to talk about Pride Month and all the things that the town of Chelmsford is doing to celebrate and honor Pride Month. So I think we could all use a little history of how Pride Month came about and why it's in June.
So one of the main reasons we have it in June, at least in the United States, is because in June of 1969, the New York City Police Department raided a bar in Greenwich Village that was called the Stonewall Inn. Stonewall Inn was one of the places in the city of New York where gay men, transgender women, a whole group of people could be themselves and not have to worry about, you know, the homophobic slurs and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the history is a little more complicated than that because the bar itself was owned by the mob, which so that played into the raids as well. However, it was not an isolated occurrence, and the patrons during that month of June, they started fighting back against the discrimination they were experiencing. And actually, one of the main figures in this is a transgender woman named Marsha Johnson. But in any event, the next year in June of 1970, in Greenwich Village in New York, they had the first Pride celebration, and we've been doing it since then. So
we have a picture of that march in 1970. It was the original gay pride parade, I guess you would say. And it's interesting to me when I look at this photo, I see a lot of white men, probably in their 20s and 30s. And now here it is, more than 50 years later, and this community has really grown to be a lot more inclusive.
Yeah, it has, and I think you look at the evolution of some of the flags and symbology that we have. A lot of the more common flags will add a brown and a black stripe to the traditional rainbow flag because it's very important to recognize that Black Americans have had more issues other than just if they're in the LGBTQ community. So kind of to recognize their contributions to our community as well.
So the purpose of Pride Month is to, and the reason Chelmsford is celebrating it is to educate the community about all kinds of issues that the gay community might be encountering, and also to educate people and to show support for the community within our community. The Department of Health had a booth at the Market on the Common last weekend, and we got to talk to the health officers a little bit about why they were out there. So let's watch this video.
Sure. Hi, I'm Darcy. I'm the public health nurse for Chelmsford.
And I'm Amanda. I'm the health educator for the town.
We're here today to bring awareness to LGBTQIA plus issues and show our support.
Right. We found that the data has shown that folks who identify as LGBTQIA struggle with mental health. The suicide rates, especially amongst youth, are through the roof.
And especially with COVID, it's gotten a lot worse.
Right. So we just want to raise awareness. We want to show the town that we're here. We have great resources. So we're here today. If people want to come by our office or give us a call, we're happy to share what we can with people.
Absolutely.
So I really liked her shirt. It said proud ally. You don't have to be a member of the gay community to celebrate Pride Month.
Yeah,
You just need to be a supporter of people being themselves.
Absolutely. And then you talk about the initials that we use, the letters LGBT, lesbian, bisexual, gay, transgender. Then you start adding Q, I, A, Q for queer, questioning, I, intersex. A can be either asexual or ally. And it really encompasses all of us. And the big thing is that we just want to come together in the community. We just want to exist and be ourselves.
That's great. And I hope that when we celebrate Pride Month every year that people become more and more accepting. One issue I know that you really wanted to focus on tonight and for Pride Month is proper pronoun use.
Yes.
And the select board had a listening session to express issues going on, and we have a clip of you talking at that session.
Sure.
Let's watch.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Koutsoufis. I use she, her pronouns. I currently reside in Littleton, but I'm a captain on the Chelmsford Fire Department Fire Prevention Office. I still have dealt with a few people in my time in the Fire Prevention Office that have outright refused to use proper pronouns. Contractors, some business owners within town, some employees of business owners within town that I've dealt with. They're citing First Amendment issues or religious bigotry as their reason for why they don't want to respect my existence as a person, and that hurts.
So Danielle, tell us a little bit about the pronoun issues that you're having and how it makes you feel when people won't use your preferred pronouns, or how it makes you feel when they use the ones that you're choosing.
Yeah, so first off, I would never call them preferred pronouns because they are my pronouns, or they could be your pronouns or whomever. It's not a preference. It's just who you are as a person. The main thing that using someone else's pronouns does is it immediately shows respect for that person, as a human being. And I think that's where we get off the rails a lot in society these days, is we don't respect other people. But to me, if someone uses the wrong pronouns, and especially if they're doing it maliciously towards me, it sort of makes me feel less human. It's a terrible experience. And then when it does happen, when pronouns are used in a correct manner, it makes me feel great. I mean, it's really a huge key when we saw Amanda and Darcy talking about mental health in the community, just having self-respect as a person. That is such a huge thing, and I think one thing that the community and allies and the healthcare community especially can focus on to assist LGBTQ people.
So it doesn't seem like a very big ask for people to be referred to by what they ask to be referred to, and so I hope that we are working to educate the community on the importance of such, they're such little words, a couple of letters, and they really make a big difference. I do have to put in my dig for the word they, because I was an English major, and they for singular is so hard, but of course I want to be respectful, and I do everything I can to use that word, even though it's hard to get off my tongue. So, Danielle, I really appreciate you being out there and supporting all the gay issues and bringing it out into our community, and just being there as support for everybody who might be having their own issues. And I'm sure you are a very good resource for our community, and I appreciate you being here on Chelmsford Tonight. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks.
So we'll be back in a few minutes with our next summer segment as Chelmsford continues to celebrate summer.
Show number 2, y'all ready? Glad to be here, Lord. Folks, nice to see you. Glad you made it. rockin'. I want everybody that can do Georgia Sunday rockin'. I'm gonna get your Bobby shoes on. Hold the jukebox, close the view. Have you heard the news? Everybody rockin'. Have you heard the news? Everybody rockin' tonight. I want the whole time, baby, top of the band. Like she knows about rockin' my band. You heard? Everybody rockin' tonight. I want sugar with a juke heart. Hey, they want to go rockin' the shoes. I rock away all the blues. Hey, everybody rockin' tonight.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here to talk about the month of July. It's not summer without the Independence Day celebration that Chelmsford has every year. And with us to talk about that is the chair of the committee, is Jeff Hardy. Jeff, welcome to Chelmsford Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And I just want to comment on Jeff's shirt. It says Parade Committee on it, and it's got the classic red, white, and blue, but every so often he's going to funk out on our Chelmsford TeleMedia camera. But he's here to talk about some important things that we all want to know about. So, Jeff, we are back. There was a 2-year hiatus due to COVID, and we're back this year
Yes, we
with
are.
all the activities. Why don't you tell us what's going to happen on the 4th of July weekend in the town
Well,
of Chelmsford?
Well, on the 4th of July weekend, where it's on a Monday, so we took advantage of the Saturday. We did this about 7 or 8 years ago, where we had a different concert on the Saturday night, which we're doing again with the band. I always get the name wrong, X-Teen and the X-Tines, and it's a gentleman, Paul Delana, is a Chelmsford guy. He's a fantastic guitar player, and they play downtown Lowell pretty frequently, I understand, and then so we'll do that Saturday. There'll be music from 5 to 8, and then the band will play from 6 to 8, and then we'll have a couple of food trucks and stuff, so if people want to come down and get a bite to eat.
And you said that's a rock and roll band, right?
Yes, yep, more, well, they're 70s, 80s, 90s. These guys are unbelievable players, so I don't think they'd be disappointing anybody.
Great. And then the next day?
No, Saturday will be the traditional county fair like we've done for years with the Chelmsford Community Band playing their traditional patriotic set, and the booth set up, and the Lions will always do a great job with that. So that was that kind of got lightened up because of COVID. So it's nice because we're going to have a full weekend back.
And 2 episodes ago, we had Eric Linsner on from the community band, and they're going to be playing a special piece that they commissioned for their 50th anniversary, so we'll have an opportunity to hear that. So that's something new this year as well. And then finally on July 4th, there's the Independence Day activities.
The parade will step off at 10 a.m. Well, you have the road race around 9:30 before us, and then the parade will step off at 10 o'clock, as we always do, from the McCarthy, and hopefully the last unit will cross in front of the reviewing stand in the center by noontime.
Will you be announcing this year?
Yes, yep, Lynn and I will be back.
Great.
And
I think we have a picture of you and Lynn in the booth announcing the parade from 2019. You guys look like you're having a really good time.
we always have a great time. That's the year my granddaughter came up and visited me, so that was fun.
Oh, that's great. So this parade tradition is not new to Chelmsford. It's been going on for a very long time. You have
No,
any-
17 was the 50th consecutive, and so that's the year that Lynn and I decided to step away. Unfortunately, right after we did that, the COVID set in, so they had to skip a year, and then last year they were going back and forth and decided to go ahead, and they did a fabulous job on very short notice.
So let's see how the parade has changed. We have a video here of the parade in 1924. Of course, the film is black and white. So it has all the same elements, right? It's got the vehicles or the floats. But look how well dressed everybody is.
I wish we could have more horses, but obviously it's hard on the animals when it's that hot.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're walking on grass for the most part.
That was a fun flashback in time to see how it looked. Now we've got one from 1975, just to show the continuation of the parade tradition. It's the Chelmsford High School Marching Band.
I'm probably in that crowd somewhere.
So you remember going through your whole life?
Oh, for sure.
So you grew up here, and this
I
is
did.
part of your tradition.
And my daughter's gone her entire life. Now the grandkids come, and that's, my dad used to play in the high school band in the parade.
Wow.
Back in the day.
That's really great. I'm sure there are a lot of families here that have the same experience as you. And then there's a lot of new families to town that are just going to get to experience it now for the first time. What happens in the parade? Tell me about some of the floats that we see.
Well, it's usually the scout troops are the ones who build the floats, and I understand they're trying to use pretty much reclaimed wood exclusively, old pallets and whatnot, because the cost of materials is getting sky high.
So everyone has to be resourceful this year.
I think a lot of these groups kind of faded, unfortunately, over the past couple of years. And we haven't seen the amount of floats that we normally see. We used to give prizes because then it became a little contest. Sometimes you'd have neighborhoods who'd get together and build a float.
Well, I think that this year is going to be a big marker when everybody sees how nice the parade is. They'll want to be part of it next year.
I hope so.
So we have a video from 2019, the last one before we had to shut down for COVID. And what I found interesting about this one is that we take advantage of this parade opportunity to honor all kinds of people. And in this clip, we're honoring one of Chelmsford's own fire department members.
We have Dan Jubilee, that is in a 1935 former Chelmsford Engine 4.
Thank you, guys.
And he is retiring this year after 36 years with the fire department, excuse me. So give him a round of applause for his years of service.
Again, I can't say enough about the public safety in this town, the fire department, the police department. They all work so hard to take care of us, and we really appreciate everything they do.
So, Jeff, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for bringing the parade back to Chelmsford. And
Oh, you're
making
welcome.
it-
It's an honor to be able to help keep this tradition going. You know, when you see the old films like from the 20s and you think, you know, we're keeping this going, and, you know, who knows what it's going to be in 2120.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll still be going.
Well, it's a great tradition, and we thank you for it, because it wouldn't be summer without the 4th of July celebration. Thank you.
Well, it's a huge contribution from the community as far as donations from the businesses, and then the banners you see throughout town help us fund it. No taxpayer money comes out for the parade.
Just the
It's all
community.
self-funded.
The community supporting the community.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. We'll be back after this break. The weekend market is back on Chelmsford Town Common, and here to talk with me about that is Jen Melanson. Welcome back to Chelmsford Tonight, Jen.
Yeah, glad to be back.
We just saw you last week where we
Yes.
talked about Gardens for Good and providing fresh fruit, fresh vegetables for people experiencing food insecurity. But for the entire community, you can come out on the summer weekends to Chelmsford Town Common, and there is a farmer's market.
Yeah.
But tell us, we changed, the name changed. It's not a farmer's market anymore.
Yeah, so before the pandemic and before COVID, there was a farmer's market that was on the Common on Saturdays. And then, you know, obviously because of the pandemic where the world shut down, the farmer's market unfortunately shut down as well. So, so this is the first year that we're back up and running, and we're doing things a little bit differently this year. I think, you know, we were a little slow to get started. I think we didn't really start planning this until about mid-March when one of our local farmers approached me at my office at Town Hall to ask with some help for getting a market going again. And so we decided to do things a little bit differently and expand from a simple farmer's market to more of what we're calling an artisan and crafters and farmers market.
Which is great, because we know that there's a lot of artists and artisans and bakers and all kinds of really talented people in the area that can come and sell their wares. That's great.
Absolutely, and we really wanted to expand the market so that it would be more of a community event running every week. And so we've opened the market up to all sorts of different types of vendors besides just farmers. So we do have our local produce vendors, but we also have artisan bakers who have come on board. We have some crafters. Last week we had a beautiful woodworker who made gorgeous like cutting boards and that sort of thing. I have a couple of new vendors that just signed up. One is a glass blower and another is a candle maker that pours candles into vintage recycled glassware. So we're really, trying to expand our offerings and appeal to a wider audience that would visit the market.
So it definitely sounds like Chelmsford Town Common is the place to be on a Saturday. What are the hours of the market?
Yeah, so we're running every Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. on the Common, with the exception of July 4th weekend, because obviously we have lots of festivities on the Common.
The town's a little busy.
Yes, that weekend. So we didn't want to be competitive with those festivities, so we'll halt for that week. But otherwise, we started up. So Memorial Day weekend would have been our first opening weekend, but the weather did not hold up for us. There were severe storms that moved through the area that afternoon, so we had canceled. And so the following weekend, the first weekend of June, was our first weekend at the market. And so now we've had 2 weekends. We have a third weekend coming up. And we had a really great weekend last weekend where we also celebrated Pride at the market, and we had Pride Month events at the market, which drew a huge crowd, and lots of our vendors sold out as well.
That's fabulous. Let's take a look at what the market looks like. You can tell us what's going on in this video.
So we've been very lucky to have gotten lots of private and some corporate donations to cover all of our marketing materials that we're using. So we have beautiful banners made. We have A-frames, and you probably see lawn signs that are around as well. But these are some of our vendors. Waters Bread happens to be a TikTok sensation. I actually learned after Hannah Waters booked at our market, and my daughter actually clued me into the fact that she's a TikTok sensation, and when I looked her up, she has over 760,000 followers on TikTok. Her first week at the market, she sold out in 30 minutes.
So what's she doing on TikTok? Is she doing a dance and singing, or is she baking?
Yeah, no, she's showing her bread and how she bakes bread and that sort of thing. And last week, she actually posted a TikTok video about being at the market and showed a little footage from her stall at the market and the fact that she sold out. So, we have kind of some local celebrities that are joining us that people can come down and meet. And we're also planning some entertainment for later on in the season. So I just booked a classic rock cover band that will be with us on July 16th. And we will be doing other events throughout the year as well that I'm not quite ready to let the public know about.
That's all right. That will encourage everybody just to show up every Saturday to see what kind of surprise Jen Melanson has for them.
Yeah, we also have a Facebook page. So Chelmsford Market on the Common, we have a Facebook page folks can go to every week. Around the middle of the week, I will post kind of an update about what's happening for this coming week at the market and post different vendors that will be there in different events.
Okay, so we've heard about all the craftsmen that are there and the baker, but let's go to the originators of these markets. We have a video of one of the farmers who comes in from sort of mid-Massachusetts?
Westminster.
Westminster comes in and brings their what they're growing on their farm, and I got to tell you, it made me awfully hungry to watch this video. So let's watch it now.
Yeah.
My name is Virginia Lashwa. I am the owner of Brookside Family Farm in Westminster, Massachusetts, and today we brought some romaine lettuce to sell. We had red sail lettuce, and we have this is iceberg lettuce down here. Sorry. There you go. That's iceberg. And then we have kale up front.
Are they all the same or are they different?
We have eggs to sell also. We today had asparagus, and hopefully next week we'll have strawberries. We were here last weekend and we had our first opening of the market, and 90% of the vendors sold out. And we thought it was very successful. Everyone was happy here, and we're just thrilled to be in Chelmsford doing this.
Wow, she said she sold out. Now, the market is from 1 to 4, and I tend to run late. So if I show up late, am I going to find anything?
You should find stuff. I think most of our vendors, still have product available throughout the day. We also have an agreement with vendors that they stay throughout the entire market. So even if a vendor sells out, they'll still be there and to meet and greet people and talk about the great products that they have so you can come back next week.
But what about the bread?
The bread is just, I have to say, I bought a loaf of that bread and it was pretty great.
You said it sold out the first week. You told her to bring more. It
Yes,
sold out the next week.
So she sold out again the second week. And so I've told her to make sure that she brings all of our vendors to bring extra inventory this coming week, because we also are coinciding with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee's Juneteenth event on the Common, which is happening, I think, from 1 to 3. So we're expecting a lot more people on the Common this week, which will bring more traffic to the market, and also the market will complement that that event for folks. So,
Wow.
I also wanted to mention that you know I'm tying in my interest in addressing food insecurity through the market. I mentioned that we've gotten quite a few very generous donations to the market, and so we're taking some of those donations and we're turning them into a Market Dollars program, where folks who are income eligible in the community can get coupons that they can use in exchange for fresh produce at the market. So that program's going to start up in about mid-July.
Wow, that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
To be able to go shopping there. Wow. Well, Jen, thank you so much for talking about Market on the Common. It sounds like a really fun time with all different kinds of celebrations going on at the same time, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, we'd love to see you down at the market.
So that's our show for tonight. I hope that you're all looking forward to summer in Chelmsford. There's a lot going on, a lot to keep us busy, keep us outdoors, and I hope you enjoy it. I want to thank my crew. I want to thank Karen and Bob and John for helping us out today, and especially Pete up in the control booth. And I'm Karen Woodrow. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night, everybody.